Um, Before we start talking and practicing, of course, the Feijia Gong, I'd like to talk about the final posture that we always use to conclude the Qigong. The two hands in front of the abdomen, and then stand, fall asleep, whatever. Um, in Qigong, one of the things that happens, hopefully, if you followed my class last Wednesday, then you by now know we do not move the Qi and we do not build up Qi, but we do facilitate it by opening up our body, by freeing ourselves from stagnations. And that makes the Qi circulate freely, or at least more freely. And it's a bit like you give a push to a water flow. Although we do not give a push to the Qi circulation, but the comparison, you give a push to the water flow, it has to quiet down again before you start doing things. Otherwise, when it stays wild, you'll never be able to catch a fish. So, not that we have a fish in our system, don't take it too literally. But the Qi is circulating, and that keeps us like this. So if you practice the Qigong before you go to sleep and it really catches on, you'll be up all night. And well, you don't want that. So you want a stabilized Qi again. And that's at the level that we're at. Later on we'll talk about different things at the higher level, but for now you want to return the Qi to a state of tranquility, a state of rest. And that is what you do by centering into the Dantian. Centering the Qi into your Dantian, not all your Qi, but anyway, you use the Dantian as a center. Now, how do we do that? We fool our mind. So first, you move one hand over the other hand. And you might, especially after this Qigong session, you might feel how approximately this location, where the middle finger rolls into the palm and makes contact, well, it radiates some warmth, and you won't feel it like this, but now the palm is quite thin, so it will radiate through at the other end. And as you have two palms, you will be able to connect the spot like this. Maybe you have to search a bit. Where is it the strongest? How far can I go? Do I have to be close? Or can I use a larger distance? Well, that depends on the outer circumstances as well. Of course, for instance, in winter, the difference between your body heat and the temperature of the air is big, so you can use a wide distance. But in summer, especially nowadays with the global warming, it's really warm and there's hardly any difference between the air and your bodily temperature, so you have to be really close. So there's a difference. Anyway, you make contact, left hand over right hand or right hand over left hand, does it matter? There are two strains of thought, yes and no. And they are not contradictory, but they are different levels. If you feel a difference, usually because you are a woman, because it's being said that women should do right over left, men should do left over right. But actually these things only are valid if you start feeling something because of it. If you do not feel a difference inside your body because of left over right or right over left, just stick with left over right. Everybody does left over right, we do left over right. So just stick with that. You won't speed up your development if you change it before. It's just all a matter of sensitivity and yeah, well, if you do not yet experience a difference, then there is no difference. Simple as that. Anyway, you add the warmth of one hand to the other hand. And then you allow the hands, while keeping that warmth intact, that warmth connection, you keep it intact. You allow them to sink down in front of the abdomen. And now I'm not going to say you have to place them exactly in front of this or that spot. Just let the hands place themselves without physical contact. And there, where you feel that your body responds and becomes warm as well, that's where you place your hands. And that might differ from day to day. So, depending on your state of health and the openness of your chi system. So that's actually phase one of making this position, because now we use the mind. Not by thinking or by giving a mental order or something, but feel the thinking process. You might feel heaviness in the head, for instance. So try to feel how it dissolves, how it opens up, and just by standing there, find a way to relax and allow that relaxation to sink through your throat into your abdomen. That's what we call Dantian training. The E guards the Dantian. So not the mind, but the intention. For now, that's enough. The intention guards the Dantian. And then you start, instead where you first were searching for your abdomen with your hands. Now from the inside out, you start to search for your hands. You are in your abdomen, in your dantian, and you search for your hands. I can assure you, in all these years, I have only succeeded once in that connection from inside to the outside, but it's not relevant. It's a means to bring the E down into the dantian. And why do you want that? Well, the E, the intention, is followed by the Chi. Where the intention goes, that's where the Chi goes. So if you want to gather the Chi in your dantian, you should not be here thinking, I want the Chi in the dantian, because all Chi goes into the head. And you end up with a severe headache. You don't want that. Here it will become nice and warm, and that's what you're looking for, and you can hold that posture as long as you like. So that I'm standing relatively short after the Qigong is just for time's sake, because of course our time together is limited. It's also a standing posture which is really good for specifically the Dantian training, where you just sit in your legs and recover. You search for the abdomen. You relax the brain and allow the sensation, the brain sensation, to sink through the throat, through the chest, into the abdomen, into the dantian. And then you can continue to sit as long as you like. Okay, that is about the standing posture that we finish the Qigong with. So now we're going to repeat the Feijia Gong. And as Feijia Gong is a very young Qi exercise, I'll take off my coat because last time I was sweating like a pig. Okay, the Feijia Gong. I have explained the first 4 exercises last time. If you were not there, you can check it out on the website. So we'll first just repeat them. And again, I'll say, for the legs, use the second camera. And use me as a mirror. So if I move this side, then don't move that side. You see me moving my left arm, so you use your left arm. No, use your right arm. Just go the same side. That keeps it easy. Last time we did the Feijia Gong in 2 ways. So first slow and gentle, and after that the way it actually should be with the full force explosions. So now, so that you can follow, we'll do the gentle way again, and stop. Hope you enjoy. Watch the feet. Make a V shape on the heels. An extreme V shape on the toes. Open up straight forward, align yourself, and drop. Don't go too low. The hands go up a bit like the fourth do. Palms away, fingers aligned. Relax the dantian, soften the back, soften the neck. Roll the hands over an imaginary tennis ball. Palms towards your head. And we start. Two. Up. Up. Move out. Change sides. Next. Change side. and 4. Five. Up. X. One fist, one open hand. And the last one. Hands up, palms away. Turn the arms. And close. Feijia Gong. the skill of the Fei family. Actually, it's a chin style exercise, and you can know that because of this movement, which has a chin style Tai Chi signature. Anyway, now let's look at the 5th, 6th, and 7th exercise. They are the really difficult ones. And well, like Qigong, it has many layers. So if you miss something and you have something like, I have no idea what he's talking about, well, that can happen, but don't worry about it. It will come. Just work with what you understand and what you can find in your own movement. Now for a little bit of theory, not too much because that's what we will do on Wednesday. But, well, and it's not actually theory. There are sensations you want to work with, and these sensations are real, well, after some practice, of course. And actually, we work with 3 types of sensation. Well, that's not completely true. 4 types of sensation. So 1, well, 5 if you take mental relaxation as well. But what's left is 4 types of relaxation. 1, a sensation of fullness, like if you are hollow and the body is filled with warmth. Should be warm all over, starting in the center, and then like a lake that overflows into the rivers, and the rivers overflow into the canals, and the canals overflow into the ditches, and the ditches, well, they water the fields. The field being our physical body, muscles, bone, flesh, and so on. The lake, in this story, the dantian. Now, let's not talk about meridians, that's too detailed and too theoretical. Let's talk about the experience. So, when you stand there, you relax the abdomen, you soften the back, soften the neck, open up the head by relaxing the brain and aligning yourself properly. And then you relax, continue to relax the abdomen until it feels like, well, a bit like if you've eaten too much, but not unpleasant, but just full and heavy. And then you realign your body. Watch, for instance, my shoulders. Maybe I start like this, but now I want to overflow, and the rivers are going through the main joints, the hips, the shoulders. So they have to open. That means in the hips that I have to relax. How do I relax? Well, by allowing my weight to fall down through my legs into the floor, so that I feel how I actually hang on the outside of my legs. When you stand too narrow, it's difficult to feel, so it's easier when you sit a bit wider on your legs. And then you might feel, if your position is properly aligned, you might feel how the outside muscles carry the body, and the inside can relax and soften. And the hip joints, it's not about the actual joints, well it is, but for now let's only stay with what we can actually feel and control at this stage. That's the groin. Soften the groin on the inside. That does not mean let your genitals relax and let the anus relax. No, they should be pulled up, but relax the inside, actually the inside of the hip joints. That's how you open up the passageway to the feet. The shoulders is just a matter of, yeah, you can feel. There, go there. Now, whether this works or not, we have to go fast again, time is limited. So, this sensation of fullness actually really touches the sensation that we call the linear sensation, because our body is linear. Well, some people are short and wide, and other people are tall and thin, and then there's all these body types in between, of course. But the basic idea still is your arm has length. This to your feet is length. So there is a linear sensation possible. Like I explained last Wednesday, it might start when you start with Qigong, oh, I get warm hands. So you try to move in such a manner that the warmth is a constant throughout the entire body, not only the hands. And actually that, like I said, that really touches with the sensation of fullness. So they go together. Then not really a next level, but the next maybe entrance to being aware and having sensations is what we call the feel sensation. There are many ways of talking about this and experiencing this, but the basic experience is actually, again, when you sit, you relax the inside, so you hang on the outside, soften the sacrum, soften the back, soften the neck, and round the arms. Elbows are above the knees. You don't have to sit really low, but try to feel how you stand like inside an egg. Well, a round egg, yeah? And you're pressing against the egg. Not with the lower legs, you won't feel anything there, but the thighs, the back, the sacrum, the lower part of the back of the head, the outside of the arms, all the way down to the outside of the fingers. Maybe it already works for you, maybe it does not yet, but a field experience, like if you stand inside an energetic sphere. When these two combine, the linear and the field, and you have done a special training to open up, well, to free up the empty space inside your body. What do I mean by that? For instance, you can move your skin. That means that there's free space in between the skin and the muscles or the flesh, whatever. And that means that you can, with a standing meditation, and we use special standing positions for that, you can free up that empty space inside. And if you make a movement, then you will get a spiraling sensation when you focus on the linear and the field. So that's well, just how these are the sensations we work with. Now the energetic part is, well, it's not difficult, but it takes time to develop. But luckily you can work on a more physical level with it. For instance, if you stretch out your arm, you keep it in a relaxed position, and now we're going to divide it in parts. So if I rotate here, then the entire arm rotates because it's connected to this location, just beyond the shoulder joint. And I can only rotate this far. Now I go beyond the elbow joint. And there I can rotate a little bit as well. I can't go that far because if I go too far, then the wrist will move as well. And I only want to move here. So I don't have that much. After that, I move the wrist, like that. And then I open up the palm so that I can feel the skin stretching, and it feels a bit warm. And then you go back. So you relax the skin, relax the wrist part, the front elbow, the front shoulder, and then you go out again. Shoulder, elbow, wrist, palm, palm, wrist, elbow, shoulder. And there you have a sensation of a spiral. It's that easy. Now we finally can talk about the fourth exercise. Because it does so many things. First, the movement. It's not this. Watch the shoulder. So now the arm moves separately from the body. No, I move up with the arm. And now I have an open connection from my dantian through my shoulder joint, through my elbow joint, through my wrist joint to the palm. And it's the dantian that turns. And now, like two cogwheels, you get this type of connection between the chest and the upper arm. So when I rotate the chest in this manner, the shoulder has to rotate as well, like this. So you get this. The shoulder can only move that far, so if this stops, this stops. Now I'm beyond the elbow, and then the wrist. Then, and the palm. Then I let go of the palm, the wrist, beyond the elbow, beyond the shoulder. That makes the arm rotate, so this rotates as well. And I'm back here again. So you open up, you rotate out, there, and you let go. So you rotate back. Now the exercise in its entirety goes like this. And then of course the other side like this. Again, it's the spiral going out and bouncing back. So if you sit in your legs, you're open. There we go. Rotate and spiral at the same time. And now you don't bounce back like this, but you continue the spiral in the same direction it rotated in order to get here. That means that the palm continues to rotate like that. The wrist beyond the elbow, beyond the shoulder, and then you will fall back. And there you let go to the natural state. See, let's take one arm, rotate, shoulder, etc. towards the palm. And then the rotation, the spiral continues but goes back to the abdomen. You open up. When the dantian rotates, the shoulder rotates. Beyond the elbow, the wrist, the palm. Palm, wrist, elbow, shoulder, dantian. And that's how you switch sides. This is all, well, no, this is one thing, because I started with a complicated story about feeling the field and things like that. Why is that? Well, because even though we're moving left, right, in essence, it's this shape. So we are generating the field sensation. And here it does a typical thing, for which Chen style is famous, even though you won't find it in the books or the YouTube movies. But that's what we call one side full, one side empty. So imagine that you stand inside or around a large bowl. What you get is, this side empties here. This side is being pushed and it's empty. Now the contents of, like if you are a balloon, the contents of this side of the balloon have to stay somewhere, so they go to the other side. And that's why you open up one side, it's a half full balloon. This side, by using the spirally sensation, this side is being compressed, and then that side opens up in its full roundness. And it uses the spiral, does the same thing, and that's how you go from one side to the other. And you open up, compress, and you expand. You compress, and you expand. Good. Now, when you work with Qigong, there are so many layers. Now we go fast, so please join the Wednesday group if you haven't yet, because that's where I go step by step, and then all these things that I mentioned now will be explained again, but then they will be really explained. Now I just go over them because we want to work with them. Anyway, there are all these types of sensations, so a feel, linear, which combined becomes a spiral, things like that. Now, what did I want to say? I started with the talk about feel as if you are a balloon filled up, and the lake, the river, and eventually the ditches. Well, that's still there, because you're working with a field or a spiral sensation. That doesn't mean that is away. It's still there. You're still working with that as well. It's a bit like an onion, because all these layers, you can of course only see one layer, the layer that's right in front of your eyes, but all the other layers are there as well. Now, that means that the field experience, the balloon experience, is one side empty, one side full. A linear sensation, spiral, continue the spiral, so the spiral goes out, there, it continues actually, but it bounces back. Through the dantian, opens up, and comes out at the other side, continues. Again through the dantian, and then there are these other skins of the onion. One skin we have discussed before, that's when we were talking about Tai Chi, that's the Dumai and the Renmai meridians. So the Dumai going through the spine up, over the skull, and toward to the palate, and then from the tongue down, the Renmai. As a connection, yeah. And what was said and explained is that the Dumai is actually a brittle meridian. To facilitate it, you have to allow the parts, like the spine, to really align on top of one another, and you have to be careful. So you do not want to twist while you are allowing the yang qi going up through the Dumai. The Renmai, on the other hand, is a bit flexible. So you can go down in a spirally manner, but when you go up, then you have to stay fixed. And once you're up, then you can rotate, but that's once you're up. Well, this is what happens here as well. So when you open up and you go towards the spiral, before the spiral starts, the Dumai is a layer of the onion as well. So you do not move when going up. When going up, this stays still. Now, when you're up, you can go out and you can continue the yang qi towards the palm. Now you go down, the yang qi goes through the inside, yin qi. So, and then it can spiral down when it goes up. But back is fixed. When one sits up, it can rotate, not spiral, but rotate. This can spiral, the back cannot. Once you go down, then you can slightly spiral. So that's an important thing. Then there is this other layer, this other skin of the onion, and that's that balloon story where you are being compressed. And then boom, it wants to do that. It's a bit like maybe you have a bathtub at your house or a lake behind, I don't know, but try to push a ball under the water, a football, for instance. You can only go this deep, then it will find a way to go up. And the Dantian works a bit the same. So with all this going towards actually your center, you build up a pressure. Now he does this 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the pressure is so much that you can look for a way to release it. So actually once you've done these 4 times, then this is not a movement up. And this is not a forceful pushing out of your hands. It's a release of the pressure of your center. And how do you release? Well, that's a matter of how sensitive are you towards your own body on the inside. Because there's always these stagnations. And this, well, let's call it a compression. We'll talk about that later. But that compression is a stagnation as well. So you're not thinking about, oh, now I want to explode. That won't work, because the mind is a stagnation as well. But what you can do is try to feel the openness inside your body, just like when you move slowly. Feel the openness between your joints, generate openness there. Feel the openness between your skin and your muscles. Feel your, how you hang around your bones and make space between you and your bones, your skeletal system. There is so much open space inside it, and there is so much stagnation. And what you do, and that makes this a very healthy exercise actually, is that the more sensitive you get, the more sensitive you get to these, stagnations, the more sensitive you get to the counterpart as well, the openness. So allow the openness. So that's the idea. And in Chinese they call it kaige. And often you will hear this explained in Feijia books like open and close. The second part is gathering together, bundling up. And the kai, well, yes, in effect it means that you open things, but what do you open? Well, in the old days, you open your door, the gate to your house, which is actually 2 doors, and you open it like this. So that is kai, and that's how you write it as well, like 2 doors that you are pushing aside. So that spreading out idea, that is kai, and it has the opposite of the ge, where everything comes together and builds up pressure. Can we talk about compression expansion? No, because expansion is an activity, something that you do. Whilst the spreading out is something that you allow to happen. You search for the pathways inside your body. Oh, where can it open? Where can it open inside? And then you get into your position. That's the 4th exercise. Well, let's repeat the 4th exercise, lots of talk. So you sit in your position. Relax the legs on the inside. Relax the sacrum, the soft part of the back. The upper part of the back. Relax the abdomen. And start. just pick one of the things that come to mind. Release the pressure. Open. Now feel yourself building up stagnations in the wrist, elbow, the shoulder, into the dantian, and open them up again. Open. Good. Okay. Well, I've done a lot of explaining. I hope you can remember a little bit of it, because I'm going to end it now, but the next two exercises we'll do next time. But that there will be less explanation, because actually we've covered most of it right now. And they will be needed for the next one. The feel, compressing, the spiral moving out and in again. So these things matter. Let's conclude with a repetition of all 8 exercises again. And well, I've done a lot of explaining. And when you discover one of these things, the feel or the spiral or whatever, the compression, if you can feel that, then work with that. Don't think about the rest. Work with the one that announces itself. So, Feijia Gong. There we go again. Open 1, 2, 3, 4. Wrong. And begin. Now you've made a ball inside your dantian. Throw it away through the hollow part that your arm is. There. Change sides. Don't stiffen up. Next exercise. Up. Change sides. Next. center. Staan. Change hands. And look. Good. This was the Friday evening session, so hope you liked it. Wish you a very good weekend, good week. Hope to meet you on Tuesday again. If not, most certainly on Wednesday. And well, stay safe, stay healthy.